Hello. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. We continue our coverage of the Richard Allen trial. Today is October 24th, 2024. Today is a Thursday. Richard Allen is accused of killing Abigail Williams and Liberty German from Delphi, Indiana on February 13th, 2017. And we have a lot to go over. We're going to start like we always start. We're going to recap what we've learned from yesterday's hearing or yesterday's proceedings. I'm going to lean on you guys heavily. If there's anything that I missed, anything that you think is relevant, feel free to shoot me an email at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Put it in the chat, link it, especially you mods. And we have plenty to go over today. There's been more activity than I've seen throughout the trial on the Indiana My Case website. I've grabbed as many of those court documents as I can. If you guys have any that I've missed, please send them over to me. We're going to try our best to make this a one-stop shop and consolidate all the information pertaining to Richard Allen's trial. Welcome in CJK, Jerry, Karen G. Good to see all of you. Misunderstood. My guy Shane. Silas, how are you? Cindy, how you doing? Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Just finished my morning walk with my wife and two of the puppies. I had breakfast and I'm enjoying a large cup of coffee now. I don't know if I should have gone black with it, but it's doing the trick, that's for sure. So, salud. Cheeks, what's up? Beth, good to see you. For the people, 2024. Happy Thursday. Camaro lover. I think some of the points we're going to drive home today are going to be, it looks like they want to talk with Robert Ives. I don't know if we'll spend too much time on that. But during the person who performed the autopsy was very interested in box cutters because of the depth of the wounds. So if anybody's curious to what part of Richard Allen's confession only the killer would know, there you go. We know while he was in custody, he stated that he used a box cutter to kill Abby and Libby, and that he threw it away in the CVS dumpster. So there you have it, guys. The coroner, the person who performed the autopsy, was very interested in box cutters. And Richard Allen confessed to using a box cutter. So that's not looking good for Richard Allen. We're also going to focus in on Libby's phone. Apparently, it didn't move. It did not move. It went down the hill, stopped where they found it. May or may not have been shut off and turned back on, but it looks like there's some discrepancies there, that it may have actually been turned on the entire time. To me, my theory is, water damage. Richard Allen's phone from that day is missing. We're going to look at the evidence list from his when his home was searched. He has all of these phones that he's been pack ratting, but yet he doesn't have the phone from that day. I find that strange. And then I want your guys' opinions on Odinism versus this off-site killing, right? They can't have it both ways, and it's definitely not looking like any kind of an off-site killing. So in my opinion, it's not looking good for Richard Allen. And if you guys have anything you want to send me to the contrary, you better believe I'll put it on the screen and I'll wave it around as long as it's not speculation or anything like that. What's up, V. Marie? Hopefully you're not driving and commenting, because I'll hit you with the Al Pacino. I'll do it. All right, I got to do it.
Give me all you got! Vincent, give me all you got! I swear, me and my brother.
Eyes on the road. Sparky, what's up, Sparky? Stacy Skinner, good to see you. Silas, Shadow, Sarah Harvey. Sarah says, I'm getting so annoyed at MSM reporting of this trial. Why is that? Patty, welcome in. Tam B. Thank you, Tam. I appreciate all you guys participating in the chat and helping me out. I can't do this alone. This is a group effort. Audra Kessler, welcome in. Zuzu, welcome in. Brad, what up? Julia, what's up? Where you been? Let's go ahead and hit Julia Burns with the burn.
Excellent.
Welcome in. Phil Bond. Up. Looks like we already need a scrub report. Hit that like button, guys. Go share this on all social media. Let's get some more folks in here. Charlotte, what up? Hey, Don Spain, what's going on? Good golly, Miss Mala. Vertigo Brain. Shout out to all my folks on the other side of the globe. Like I said, guys, we are broadcasting to the world. We got folks in South Africa, India, Europe, Australia, Mexico, South America, Russia. Hello to all of you. Don't forget, guys, this is all about finding justice for Abby and Libby, and that does not include putting an innocent man behind bars. But the facts are how they exist, right? And they're telling me right now that Richard Allen he's looking like a guilty man. But that's just my amateur opinion. Darlene, how you doing? Could be true, but the ME reported multiple tuned. He doesn't know. Did Stu? He cannot rule out the box cutter, and for sure, state should have been trying to rule out false confessions by asking ME. Yeah, but I find it very interesting that he was, before he even knew about Richard Allen, he was focused in on a box cutter. You can't ignore that. I know you want to. But he was looking at a box cutter because of the depth of the wounds. There's a reason that he was focusing in on a box cutter. And it's not by happenstance that Richard Allen said he committed the crime with the box cutter. Come on now. Come on, meow. Here, actually, maybe I should put this up already. I created something for you guys today. Don't get offended. Okay. And no, this is not the fish Richard Allen was looking at. I just want to know, what bait are you biting at? Which one attracts you the most? I made this morning. The logical or the illogical? Thank you, Yonder. Here, I'll pull that up right now just so I don't forget. I may already have this, but I know that they update it, so I'm going to take a look. This is Wish TV's. Oh, no, this is from day 6. I don't know if I have that. Thank you. All right, I'll keep that up right there. Appreciate you. Shout out to Yonder. Right. The goal is just to lay out all the facts pertaining to this case. Good to see you, V. Anybody that I missed? Saska, Bismo. I apologize, but I don't want to waste too much time here. Night Shadow, Megan Sullivan, sorry. What's up, Brett Decker? Scott Metalhead. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thin Mint, what up? Stop that right now. Blind Squirrel. Anna, good to see you as always. Tara Webb, welcome in. Tina Stair. Pipers, welcome in. Perfect timing. Mel from Cold Truth. Thank you, Mel. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Today, a new witness. Oh, shit. Thing is, I can't, if I pull up my Discord, it throws my StreamYard off. So you guys give me a minute. I'm pretty sure it's some court documents, so we're going to want that. During the live streams, if you guys have anything new, don't put it on the Discord. And I'm sure she did it before, but send it to my email if you can. But I'm going to open the Discord, see what this is all about, and then I'm going to close it down. Oh, yeah, this is going to be helpful. Thank you. Looks like this is a report from Angela. So just take a second, guys. All righty. Thank you for that, Susie. Looks like Dan Dulin was a witness this morning. This should be very interesting. Can't wait to hear this. Mr. Dan Dulin. Good morning, little one. Thank you for that, Sparky. Better yet, go to sleuthintuition.com for some merch. We're doing a giveaway here, and probably this Saturday. To give away 4 T-shirts, maybe a hat. Hey, Purdue, what's going on? One of my favorite mods. All right, Tara, have a great day. Thanks for dropping a few comments. We'll catch you on the replay crew. Thank you for that, Cheeks. All right, guys, without further ado, well, hold on. Still got folks coming in. Truffles. All right, there we go. Okay, like we do pretty much every time we go live on Richard Allen's trial here, we're going to cover the recap. Usually it's recapping the day before, and then everything that we can get our hands on from the morning sessions, which start at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so we'll start here with Wish TV's recap. A lot of this will be repetitive, but we're going to make sure we get everything. Okay, Wednesday began with the motion from Richard Allen, Allen's attorney, to admit evidence regarding Odinism and the theory that the girls were murdered in a ritualistic killing. So were they murdered in a ritualistic killing, or were they taken off site? Like, which is it? I feel like they're failing Richard Allen at this point. If he's an innocent man, they have utterly failed this man in every way. But the facts, I guess it's hard to contend with the facts, right? In September 23, the defense filed a memorandum claiming that the members of a pagan Norse religion called Odinism, hijacked by white nationalists, ritualistically sacrificed Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That thing is chock full with lies. Remember, they mentioned the rope, and they insinuated that the girls were strung up and drained of all their blood for a ritual. Remember that? Survey says that was a lie. Court struck down the Odinism theory last month. Goal has not yet ruled on the latest motion. The first witness was Dr. Roland Kaur, who performed autopsies on Abby and Libby's bodies. He described the wounds each girl had. He said the girls did not have blatant defensive wounds or sexual trauma. Kaur said the girls could have been wounded with a box cutter. Now remember, this is before the arrest of Richard Allen. He was thinking about this. He's thinking, man, he even went out and purchased some box cutters. According to News 8's Kyla Russell, this sparked a back and forth with the defense, which argued that Kaur's original report said the girls were wounded with a serrated edge. Both things can be true, guys. When it comes to box cutters, you open it up, you lay a razor blade in there, you close it. If you want a serrated razor blade, you put that in. The same. There's no difference. It's up to you. What's your choice? You want a regular razor blade, or did you pick up serrated razor blades? Who told, second to testify was Sarah Carbaugh, who told the court she saw a bridge guy walking alongside the road covered in mud and blood around 4 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. Carbaugh said she recognized the photo of bridge guy. See, there you have it. Everybody, it doesn't matter their description of the bridge guy. This is why Libby is 100% a hero. Nobody can take that away from her. Without that video, these witnesses are unable to say, hey, the guy we saw, well, he's got long blonde hair, or he's a 20-year-old guy. He's very boyish with these beautiful feminine blue eyes. It does not matter, because they can look at the video that Abby took and said, there's the guy. That's the guy I saw walking covered in mud and blood, or the guy I saw when I was leaving the trails. Carbaugh said she recognized the photo of bridge guy as the man she saw covered in blood and mud, but that she waited 3 weeks to notify police because she was scared. Hell yeah. She doesn't know if he saw her. Maybe she thought that he would be in jail by now, which he should have been. And we're going to get to Dan Dulin in a minute. The defense questioned Carbaugh about alleged discrepancies in her descriptions over the years in police interviews. She also claimed a section of her June 2017 police interview was missing. Yeah, the defense, they want to talk about, missing portions of interviews, but they don't want to talk about that one. The state then called Christopher Cecil, commander of the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, who spearheaded WO reports on Libby's cell phone activity. Cecil said the phone was being used by both girls on the day they disappeared. He told the courts which apps had Libby and Abby's logins. So apparently Abby and Libby were both using that phone that day. And we have proof through another conversation that was hasn't really been released to the public, but I have it in my possession. Abby and Libby communicating, and they both Libby allowed Abby to access her applications so that she can kind of snoop on friends that she wasn't getting along with to see if they were kind of gossiping or talking shit or whatever, teenager stuff. A lot of very innocent, normal stuff, and it really breaks your heart to see it because it was weeks before the crime. He said the phone was last unlocked around 2:07 p.m. So that's right. They must have taken that photo of Abby on the bridge, the phone locked, and then at 2:07 p.m. they activate the phone again. And the bridge guy video was taken at 2:13 p.m. At 2:14 p.m., someone tried to unlock the phone with a fingerprint. 2:32 p.m. is the last known movement of the phone. That makes you wonder right there, 2:32. That's probably when the attack happened. Libby's phone stayed on and received messages until at least 10:30 p.m. Although it wasn't turned off, it stopped receiving messages until 4:33 a.m. So I think that has to do maybe with the water damage, maybe poor cell coverage. On February 14th, when asked why this happened, Cecil replied, "I don't know." When asked if the 23 electronic devices seized from Richard Allen in 2022 connected him to Abby and Libby, Cecil said no. He said that nothing linked Allen to the girls, other than having searched for info about the case. So I think that's interesting too. So you have this guy. I mean, it doesn't mean he's guilty, but that makes you wonder, right? He's searching about the case. I'm sure everybody was, but still, I mean, I'm kind of curious to the specifics on that. The prosecution pointed out that Allen had a different phone in 2017 and not included in the seize. The defense responded that Allen did not have his phone from 2017, 2022. Okay, so that does it for that recap. We got four more, but I wanted to go over some of these property receipts here. So let me share my screen and we'll get caught up on the chat before we do this. Welcome in, Dixie. Curious Charlie. Absolutely. Cheek says Sarah didn't take any shit from the defense. Yeah. And you're going to have people spin that as she's being combative. Oh, because she doesn't agree with you and because she's telling the truth. Who cares about her interviews? She's under oath. She's telling you right to your face what she said, what happened, what she saw. It may not fit your Richard Allen cheerleader narrative, but those are the facts. Deal with it. Remember, what kind of fish are you? What are you biting at? You biting at the logical or the illogical? Who are you? Amy Lee, welcome in. Well, that tells us what kind of fish you are, Amy. Well, not fish, but what kind of bait you're biting at least. All due respect. Jessica, welcome in. What up? There was 6 lock prints on Libby's phone, Sleuth. What does that mean? Okay, let's look at some of the things that were recovered from Richard Allen's house during the search warrant. Okay, it says here a wooden weave box containing 2 AudioVox devices, 1 silver Motorola flip phone, 1 silver Motorola flip phone, 4 car chargers. See if there's any other phones on here. Dirty Thorogood boots, 7.5 with these tiny feet. So we got, what, 3 phones already? Sealed paper bag. 1 cardboard phone box containing miscellaneous cellular information. Here's another Samsung phone. Some pagers. That's old. Yep, here's another LG Verizon smartphone. Another LG Verizon side slide smartphone. Sorry, guys, I need to put on my glasses here. Screen's killing my eyes. Another Motorola Verizon smartphone. Sealed envelope containing 3 older cell phones. An AudioVox, Nokia, Motorola. Containing a cardboard box containing 1 Nokia cell phone. Here we go down at the bottom. A silver LG singular wireless phone. Okay, so he saves every phone but the phone that he had on him that day. I just find that interesting. All right, let's go over here to ABC 30 Action News. This was a good recap by Jeremy Edwards and Emily Shapiro. Yeah, looks like Dulin was in there today. According to I haven't read it yet, but we'll see it right now. Yes, Jessica. They didn't find any connection or any communication between him and the girls, but he was looking up the Delphi case. Makes you wonder if he's been in any of these YouTube chat rooms. Yep, you might be right, Anna. You know, maybe it was just too muddy. I know sometimes I try to unlock my phone, and I have to kind of clear off the area. What's up, Bismo? Maybe. I think he still has those trophies somewhere. Hopefully they're still looking for it. Might be you. I think we're good to go on my end, Brad. Hey, Squeaky Will, what's up? One more thing. If a phone is asleep, standby mode, and Where's My App is used, it will result in the iPhone powering back up. Absolutely. We have that information. We can, if you guys remind me, I've gathered all that information during my own investigation, specifically on iPhone 6s and how they react to water damage and how they operate with backup power. And Where's My Phone app is a very big part of that. So even though your phone powers down, specifically the iPhone 6, it stores a little bit of power for emergencies and so that you can kind of locate your phone. But also there's a glitch that happens if you get your phone if any water damage to the iPhone 6, it can just power up and power down at any point in time. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any factual information to back up the Zodinism thing. I haven't seen anything to suggest whether Richard Allen is or isn't involved in that kind of stuff. Like I said, if you guys have anything that's factual, I'll put it up on the screen. I'll be happy to stand next to you and wave it in the air. Zuzu says they said they do not have his 2017 phone. Yeah, how convenient. He has every phone in the freaking world but that phone. Makes you think of the Wabash River search. Remember the rumors of a phone and a weapon being thrown in the water? Maybe it has something to do with that. I haven't seen anything factual to back that up. Hopefully that comes up. Like, what led you to the Wabash River? That needs to be a question. Miss Mull, I even think people disagree on what is logical at this and what is not. I agree with that. Hey, Star Girl. That's interesting. Yep. Welcome in, Maureen. The phone that's missing is the phone used the day of the crime. Yep, exactly. Tabitha Greaves. Tabs. I've got 7 fingerprints on my phone just by me. What's up, Brandon Williams? Lorraine, what's good? Welcome in, Lady Monet, Timmy Monet, Knockface. Sleuth, I think it's pretty conclusive by now. This was a premeditated. Yes. You know, I was waiting for factual information or more to back that up, but man, it's looking more and more like a premeditated crime. Premeditated as in targeting the girls, or premeditated as in I'm going looking for a victim? It looks like he targeted Libby specifically, right? And it almost sounds as if he might have had Abby tied up. You know, maybe he had her duct taped. The autopsy report says something about something wrapped around her mouth. You know, the blood, he had blood on his pants on the lower legs. So that means, to me, that tells me he stood over Libby while she was on the ground and he attacked her. While he bent over, she was most likely face down at first and rolled over, and he continued the attack. So there seems to be a lot of anger there. So she appears to be the target. She's left naked. She's received the majority of the wounds. Abby, she has one laceration. She's able to get her clothes back on or redressed. They say she lived for about 7 to 10 minutes. And he apparently had her tied up so that he could go attack Libby. So I think at one point he considered letting her go, maybe. And he was sorry he had to do it. I think there's somewhere in a report where he was overheard in his jail cell saying, "I'm sorry for what I did to Abby." But there's no mention of any apology for what happened with Libby. So that tells me if it is Richard Allen, he's going to try to, when he clears this all up in his motive, I think he's going to try to blame her. Oh, I hear you, Cold Truth. I know you wouldn't be a problem, but we know who would be. And it would, you're putting the girls first. Hey, Turquoise, what's going on? Sorry, guys. If I accidentally blow over your comment, I apologize. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just struggling to keep up, and I'm trying to catch everybody and just say hi. What's up, Josh Moore? Hey, there's Stefa. Happy belated birthday to you. Oh, congratulations to your brother. It's amazing. I love weddings. They get me all choked up. You can just feel the happiness in the air, Mark Collins, what up? Daniel Green, welcome in. Yeah, we haven't heard anything about the car. It's a good point. Jay, what up? Homie, don't play that. Amy Lee, I think technically the death penalty isn't off the table. Rosie and Baldwin are both death penalty qualified. The only problem is it puts a lot of pressure on the jury, and it's harder to get a conviction that way. You have a man's life in your hands. It's going to be harder to say, well, it's going to make the decision difficult for the jury to say, well, he's guilty of premeditated murder. Plus, they're not trying to explain what happened after the kidnapping. They're trying to say the prosecution's case is this. Richard Allen, we know, is Bridge Guy. It's Bridge Guy who kidnapped the girls. And if it wasn't for that, they would still be alive. That's basically their case. All roads lead to the Bridge Guy. Any way you slice it, Odinism or kidnapping, Anthony shots, any way you slice it, it's just, all roads go right back to the Bridge Guy, who they're clearly proving is Richard Allen, in my opinion. What's up, Tamby? Yep, he may have lurked in the chat rooms. What about the alleged letter written by Richard Allen that states he wanted to tell the families he is sorry? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. It's very interesting. But Anna, I think it was Anna who brought up a really good point. If we're dealing with a psychopath, he really wouldn't want to be sorry. So I don't know if he's just trying to get some sympathy or, psychopaths, they do have superficial charm. So that could be what that is. But I thought that was a great question. Charlie Chap, what's up? That makes a whole lot of sense. He's sorry about Abby. She shouldn't have been there. He was targeting Libby. It's almost as if Abby didn't even want to cross that bridge. Libby's like, "Come on, I need you to come." Maybe they're being lured over there, lured down underneath the bridge. We've heard a lot from the audio. It almost seems as if they already were planning to go down there, possibly. Like whoever was luring them wanted to meet them underneath the bridge. Your screen is dirtier than your toilet. You're welcome. Oh, yeah. That is a fact. I think they've even done studies on that under a microscope. I don't know if it's dirtier, but it's probably just as dirty. People don't use newspapers anymore. They use cell phones. Let that sink in. What's up, Roy? Amy says he deserves the death penalty if proven guilty, and it's the case that really may support the death penalty. Yeah, and I don't know if Nick even offered a plea agreement. I'm not sure. If one of the other mods could delete that for me, I'd appreciate it. Not sure why I can't on my end. I don't know. You have your wrench. Okay. Like I said, guys, if I skip over your comment, it's not because I'm intending to or I don't like what you're saying. If you need to repeat it or if you would like to get directly to me, you can just send me an email if you think it's very relevant. Welcome in, enlighten me. Says Richard Allen is sadistic. He likely enjoyed seeing the crime scene photos. He does not care. No, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I thought he would have pled out yesterday after getting a feel for the trial flow, but now I can see that he does not care. And that makes me wonder about anybody that might have knowledge that he was involved, how they feel about things too. But we're not going to drag anybody across the coals, sorry, just yet. Not yet, anyway. Angela Pepper, what's up? That's another good question. Neighbors told us they dug up 3 small holes and they were using some kind of equipment to search that area. And then when Kathy Allen sold the home, magically the fire pit is back, right? At one point it's a garden. She sells the home and there's the fire pit. Magically reappeared. Because the fire pit looks good to potential home buyers, right? Oh, and there's a fire pit in the back. Ryan Jagger, what's up? Much more than what was in the PC. Yeah, even as of right now. Necessary Evil, good to see you. Josh Moore. The information about Abby surviving 7-10 minutes after the attack, was that revealed in court yesterday? Yes. They don't have the time of death, but Libby died pretty much instantly. Major arteries were severed and there was brain swelling. So there's ways for them to determine how long they survived, but not exactly when they died. Ain't none of your business. Okay, let's continue on here. Okay, like I said, this is from ABC 30 Action News, Jeremy Edwards and Emily Shapiro. The family of 2 8th graders killed in Delphi, Indiana, prepare for day 6 of a grueling trial against the man accused of killing the girls. Testimony in the double murder trial of Richard Allen focused on data found on Libby German's phone Wednesday afternoon. Allen is charged with killing German and Abby Williams in 2017. The girls went missing on February 13th. Their bodies were found the next day near the Monon High Trail. Indiana State Police Sergeant Christopher Cecil reanalyzed Libby's cell phone and SIM card in 2019. He told jurors investigators used the cell phone towers to ping Libby's phone. Libby and Abby were dropped off on the trail at about 1:40 p.m. Cecil said phone pings confirmed Libby's cell phone was in the vicinity of the bridge at 2:05. Then at 2:14 p.m., Libby took the infamous bridge guy video that captures a man walking behind the girls telling them, "Guys, get down the hill." At 2:31 p.m., Cecil said cell phone records note a change in longitude, altitude, and elevation, which means the phone was moving. By 2:32 p.m., Cecil testified the phone stopped and never moved again. So that tells me that's probably when it all happened. Testified the phone stopped and never moved again. He told the court it didn't ping anywhere outside the trails, Deer Creek, and the site where the girls' bodies were found the next day. So the facts don't lie, guys. So you can go ahead and take this off-site killing and throw it right out the window. Because there's no way you're going to have a group of guys bring the girls to the crime scene, leave the phone there, take them somewhere else, bring them back, and lay them on top of the phone. Hey, maybe it did happen, but you're not going to convince a jury of that. You're not going to convince me of that. Investigators say Libby's phone was found under Abby's body. Cecil testified the phone gradually powered down throughout the night and died at 10:32. Then woke with a spike at 4:33 a.m. He says that That is when the phone received 15 to 20 text messages all at once. One of the messages had been sent nearly 12 hours earlier from Libby's grandmother. It said, "You need to call me now." Prosecutors asked Cecil, "Why the gap in time?" He answered, "I don't know." The state told the court they seized 23 devices from Richard Allen's home. So I showed you guys that list. So they took 23 devices from Richard Allen's home in 2022. Cecil testified they didn't find anything that tied Allen to the girls at the crime scene or the crime scene. Allen, a Delphi resident, was arrested in 2022 and has pleaded not guilty to murder. Allen has admitted to police that he was on the trail that day, but he denied any involvement in the murders, according to court documents. On Wednesday, Allen's attorneys once again filed a motion to introduce evidence they believe is connected to Odinism. Okay. So their offsite killing, their kidnapping and taking them somewhere else and bringing them back has completely failed. So what choice do they have but to try to bring back in this Norse paganism? They're having a trouble creating doubt. And if Richard Allen is an innocent man, they are failing him. At this point, I think he needs to get an appeal. Not because they're presenting any great information, but because they suck. Allen's attorneys are citing testimony from one of the state witnesses, Indiana State Police crime scene investigator Brian Olahy, who said sticks over the bodies of Libby and Abby were meant to hide their bodies. And I agree with that. I could be wrong. Steve, who is a professional retired homicide detective, CSI, said, "It doesn't have to be ruins for it to be some kind of a message from the killer. It could be something personal to Richard Allen. Doesn't mean that it's ruins, but it also could have other purposes besides concealing. I think it's done to conceal, to break up the shapes of the bodies. He was in the military. He knows exactly what camouflage is used for and why it's used." Olahy testified they appeared to be placed there by an individual. Olahy also noted it seemed to be an attempt at concealment. The defense also wants to allow testimony from Odinism expert Dr. Don Perlmutter, who is not a blood spatter expert, don't forget. The attorneys argue that blocking the Odinism theory and explanation would violate Allen's constitutional right to provide alternative explanations to the ones state plans to present in the case. I agree with that, as long as they keep the third-party suspects out, because, I mean, it's up to the jury to decide what they're seeing. The judge has ruled previously that the defense cannot present the theory to the jury because of lack of evidence. Yep. It could, they don't want to mislead them. Like, there's certain rules about evidence. It's not clear when there will be a ruling on that motion. A 30-second video filmed by Libby just before she was murdered was played for the jury on Tuesday. The video, played during testimony from Indiana State Police Digital Forensic Examiner Brian Bunner, showed Libby filming herself and Abby walking on the Monon High Bridge. At one point, the camera panned up, and no one was behind Abby. In a later shot, the video shows a man walking behind her. So, man, he must have been crossing that bridge quick. That tells me whoever this was somebody that was familiar with the trail, had been on that bridge before, and we know that Richard Allen frequented those trails. So I don't know how many of these Odinites have been running across that bridge. According to Indianapolis ABC affiliate WRTV, a girl's voice is heard on the video saying, "There's no path. The trail ends here, so we have to go down here." Libby's mother cried in court when she heard the voice. The video, which was not enhanced, was played just once for the jury. Libby posted a photo of Abby on Snapchat as they walked over the Monon High Bridge. Prosecutor Nick McClellan told the jury last week in his opening statement, after the girls crossed the bridge, they saw a man behind them, and Libby started a recording on her phone at 2:13 p.m. The man pulled out a gun and ordered the girls to go down the hill, McClellan said. The girls complied, he said, and then the video on Libby's phone stopped recording. The 8th graders' bodies were discovered near the trail one day later.
Starts today. Now, jurors heard from Sergeant Chris Cecil after the lunch break yesterday. He's an Indiana State Police digital forensics examiner. Cecil was the person in charge of examining Libby's cell phone, the same cell phone that produced the infamous Down the Hill audio clip that was played for jurors on Tuesday. Now, Cecil also talked about seizing and reviewing all of Richard Allen's 23 devices in 2022, stating that there was nothing on any of them that connected Allen to Libby, Abby, or their murders. However, the phone he had in 2017 could not be found. During family testimony, it was noted that Abby did not own a cell phone at the time of her death, and that Libby's phone ended up being found underneath Abby's dead body. Cecil told the jurors that investigators used cell phone towers to ping the phone. Now, we want to walk you through the timeline of the data that was shared in court. Cecil confirmed Libby's cell phone was on the Monon High Bridge at 2:05 p.m. Then at 2:13 and 51 seconds, Abby took the bridge guy video that captures a man walking behind the girls and telling them, quote, "guys down the hill." Fast forward to 2:31 and the cell phone records a change in latitude, altitude, and elevation. Cecil explained that meant the girls were on the move as they were reportedly led down a hill and possibly across Deer Creek. Then at 2:32 and 39 seconds, the phone never records a move again. Now, Cecil originally told jurors the phone died at 10:32 p.m. and spiked again at 4:34 the next morning, receiving text messages. One of those messages read, "Call me now," and it was from Libby's grandmother. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing here because later Cecil retracted that statement and said he believes the phone stayed on until 4:34, that it did not die at 10:32. Cecil said he didn't know why there was no movement between those hours, leaving many questions about the period of inactivity. However, that lack of movement goes against the defense team's theory that there may have been an abduction and off-site killing. Now, Cecil noted that the phone was turned on by investigators at 3:06 p.m. on February 15th, and that's over 24 hours after the girls' bodies were reportedly found, as they were found shortly after.
Okay.
Starts today. Now, jurors heard from Sergeant Chris.
Yeah, and there's already people that are attending the trial who are trying to identify. They're like focusing on the jury. Like, oh, we're trying to find out which number they are and who they are, and why are they even focusing in on the jury? That's the shit that Judge Gold is worried about. They're like trying to identify them. Like, forget about the jury. That shit is weird to me. Leave the jury alone. It doesn't matter who they are, what number they are, what they say, how they react. It's none of your business. It's that kind of shit that bothers me. That just proves who the problem is right there. Yeah, and I don't know, did they say that when the killer was with them, or were they saying that to themselves because they were trying to flee this guy? Hey, Lala. I don't know, Squeaky Will. They have nothing else. All these attorneys that have been helping him said, hey, you need to attack the timeline because the phone at 4:30, it turned back on. Well, that's out the window. That's obviously that didn't happen. There's blood at the crime scene. The girls were wet and the phone didn't move. And why the hell would the killers bring them back? Okay, so that's out of there. So now we got to bring back this Odinism shit. That's all we have left. It's not looking good. Unsilent Bob. Interfering with the jury during a trial has to be a felony, right? I don't understand why you have YouTubers who are focusing in and trying to figure out what's going on with the jury. They're trying to figure out what number they are, what their personality type is, what their age is, statistics based off their ages. You can't control what they do, so why are you even talking about them? I found that extremely distasteful and strange, really. And they wonder why Judge Gall doesn't have cameras in the courtroom. Shit like that. Mary had a big lamb. There's 10 minutes before they crossed the creek, I believe. That's where he planned the assault, but something went wrong with the sick plans and they ended up crossing the creek. Well, I think Mary, I think that he knew that he had just committed a kidnapping and he planned to maybe even committed a sexual assault. He knew in his mind he couldn't go back across that, that bridge. And he couldn't let the girls live. And if he killed them, they're going to be right there out in the open if anybody was to cross that bridge, which shortly after some folks did. I call them the Subaru crew. So he knew that in order to get back to his vehicle, he is going to have to cross that creek. And it's going to be better for him for the girls to walk on their own than it is for him to carry them. So he's thinking in his head, well, I can't go back up there on that bridge. People will see me. I'm already covered in mud, looking suspicious. They're going to know that I had something to do with the kidnapping earlier that day. And I got to get back to my car. The only way is right over this sandbar. Remember, it was very shallow. I think at the deepest point, it was like 3 feet. So he crossed and I believe he crossed the creek, forcing the girls so that he didn't have to carry them. And once they were out of sight from the private drive, he may have attempted a sexual assault or something along those lines there or on the other side. But it looks like at some point he tied up Abby. There was a mention of duct tape or some kind of a scarf or something that could have been used. Hey, what's up, Ruckus? Bounty Hunter. If it only took BG 19 minutes from the time he was videoed until the phone stopped moving, what was he doing for an hour and 23 minutes after the killings and being seen muddy and bloody? I'm assuming he's redressing Libby. He may be sitting down thinking. He could be looking for the lost bullet. He could be cleaning up the crime scene. Yeah. Something's up with that. Julia says, who gives a flying fuck about the jury? Anybody who does needs some serious self-reevaluation. Stop sensationalizing the hell out of this case. Refocus on what matters. Justice for the girls. Sick fucks. Sponsored by yours truly. I don't understand that. Very strange behavior by some. All right, let's continue on here. The pathologist, Dr. Roland Kaur, is a semi-retired pathologist out of Terre Haute. He performed the autopsies of Abby and Libby. The state showed 14 photos of the girls taken from the autopsies to the courtroom. Kaur explained both autopsies started with Abby. He said that she had one external wound on the left side of her neck, 7 inches long and around 1 inch. He said she had a faint linen on her face that could have been from tape or cloth that would have covered her mouth. Kaur said Libby had 4 or 5 wounds on her neck and the 3 main vessels were cut. So listening to this report about what happened to Libby and the blood that was seen on Richard Allen's pants, this tells me that he had both of his legs on the opposite sides of her head. She was face down. And while he's attacking her, the spray is hitting his pant legs. She rolls over, grabs her neck, and he continues to cut on the other side. That to me would explain why there's blood on the bottom of his pant legs. He said the injuries appeared to be from a serrated edge around the size of a box cutter, but he couldn't determine what kind of knife it was or how many instruments were used. Computer forensic examiner First Sergeant Christopher Cecil is a computer forensic examiner for the Indiana State Police in 2019. Cecil did an exam of Liberty German's iPhone 6S. Cecil explained the reason it took 2 years after the murders to examine the phone was due to not having the accurate technology to perform the exam. Cecil said he used a software called Gray Key to take the raw data from the iPhone and insert it into a computer software programs, Celebrite and Magnet. Celebrite is used for digital forensics. That's what they use to get the digital forensics from Kagan Klein's phone. This was done to make the raw data readable to the average person. He also explained that using that software will pull deleted and lost data from the phone. Cecil performed his first report from June 26th to August 21st, 2019. He pulled information from February 13th, 2017, as that is when the girls went missing. Cecil also knew that Libby had taken a video on Snapchat the day they went missing. Using forensic data, he found both Abby and Libby used the phone. The phone also had 3 fingerprints saved, labeled right, left, and Abby. Whoa, that's interesting. Oh, right, left. So her right thumb, left thumb, and then Abby. He discussed the data he found from the phone recorded the steps, distance, and elevation of Libby, as the location services are always on in the background. The phone recorded movement from February 13th, 2017 at 1:31 p.m., right? So they're leaving the home right at 1:31. 2:18 p.m., 2:25 p.m., and 2:32. No other movements were made until it was charged and forensically examined on February 15th, 2017. Cecil also discussed how he used Knowledge C database. The database collected data that showed the apps that have been used. That was done within the apps, any notification that may be received, and more. Timeline of phone activity on February 13th, 2017. 1:41 p.m., Libby posted a picture to Snapchat of her and Abby in Kelsey's car on the way to the Monon High Bridge. So that should help with the timeline right there, guys. 1:41 p.m. So they're dropped off between 1:41 and 1:49. Libby posted at 2:05. Libby posted a picture to Snapchat of the bridge with no one on it. 2:07 p.m., the last time the phone was unlocked. 2:13 p.m., a 43-second Snapchat video was taken by Libby and Abby on the Monon High Bridge and also showed Bridge Guy in the background. 2:14 p.m., Libby's phone tried to unlock with the fingerprint. Cecil moved on to talking about the updated report he did from May to August 2024. He explained with the updating of apps and software, he was able to pull even more information from the data he downloaded in 2019. Cecil explained that every time the phone was turned off and on, data would be lost. He said he found 4 of the images of videos that were taken on Snapchat except one. Cecil explained that he made a premature conclusion in his first report, and the last phone activity was on February 13th, 2017 at 10:32 p.m. From his second report, Cecil believes that the phone stayed on at 4:30 a.m. on February 14th, 2017, when multiple messages were being received on the phone. There was no activity after 4:34 a.m., February 14th. After a short break, cross-examination of Cecil began. The defense asked if any information was found on 23 devices that were taken from Richard Allen's home that links him to Libby and Abby or their murders. Cecil said there was not, but said his phone from 2017 was not found in the house and was not analyzed. The only thing found on Richard Allen's devices linking him to the girls is a search regarding Abby and Libby, but it is unknown who searched those names. Gross. The teens who were in 8th grade in Delphi Community Middle School were hiking on a day off from school on February 13th, 2017 near the Monon High Bridge. Okay, this is all stuff. This isn't recap stuff. This is stuff we already know. Okay. So we got one more recap from yesterday, then we'll get to Dan Dulin. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to grab me a bottled water. Give me 60 seconds. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for that. Oh, this coffee just dries out my throat. Ruckus says the state is just getting started. They're blowing through witness to get to the meat. Yeah, and they've already destroyed the defense. Everything that was publicly released has been completely devastated. And if you guys have anything to the contrary, I'll be happy to go ahead and put it up on the screen. All right, this is from Bob Siegel. This is from his recap, and you can check him out on X at Bob Siegel WTHR. At Bob Siegel WTHR. He says one distraught juror could not look at the photo shown on a large screen in the courtroom. He buried his face in his hands and barely looked up. Dr. Cord testified he saw no visible signs of sexual assault or the kind of defensive wounds that would suggest a struggle. Well, one thing they did mention was a bruise on the inner thigh or the leg, or they said it was from drag marks, but I wonder if that could have been from some kind of a fight, like Richard Allen trying to push the leg or something and being fought at. The autopsy pics showed a very faint lines on Abby's face that Dr. Core said might suggest a cloth or duct tape placed over her mouth, but he found no tape residue. He said marks on Libby's neck could possibly be consistent with a slide mechanism found on a box cutter. However, the pathologist admitted during cross that he does not know if the wounds were caused by a box cutter or how many sharp objects were used to inflict the fatal injuries. He said he could not pinpoint an exact time of death, which is hard to do in cases like this. Another ISP digital forensic examiner testified how he analyzed data and images from Libby's phone recovered at the crime scene. Chris Cecil found pretty amazing stuff on the phone, concluding how many steps Libby walked around, the time she was abducted, and the elevation changes. He also told jurors the exact times the girls captured video of the suspected abductor on the bridge, when Libby's phone powered off, and when it received new messages. One of those messages was from Libby's frantic grandma at 4:06 p.m. after the murders. You need to call me now. The day's other witness was a fourth woman who insists she saw a bridge guy on the afternoon of the murder. Sarah Carbaugh testified, I saw the man covered in mud and blood walking on the side of the road, and she reported the encounter to investigators 2 weeks later. But during the heated, intense cross-exam, Carbaugh's credibility was shredded. Defense attorney Andy Baldwin pointed out she's provided 3 statements to police during the first 2. He said transcripts show she repeatedly said bridge guy was muddy with no mention of blood. Well, she's under oath and she's telling you right then and there that she saw mud and blood, Bob. Then, during her statement 2 years later, transcripts reportedly show Carbaugh suddenly said she saw a bridge guy splattered with blood. The witness denied changing her story, but refused to look at her second and third interview transcripts when the defense offered her a chance. She doesn't need to. She's under oath. That's why witness statements aren't even admissible in court without the witness being there. I noticed one juror raised her eyebrows at the combative responses given by the state's witness, and while Richard Allen was sitting right across from Carbaugh, prosecutors never asked her to identify if the defendant is the bridge guy she saw walking on the side of the road. They don't need to. They have the video. Richard Allen already admitted to being that person. The state has now called 20 witnesses as it builds its case. Lots more to tell you. Yada, yada. All right, let's get into this information about Dan Dulin. This is from Angela Gannot today. And if you guys have anything new or breaking, send it to my email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Okay, let's catch up on the chat real quick. I think I missed you, Todd. I've been seeing your comments. Hello, Grunstruck. Good to see you. And yep, maybe even with the dirty thumb. What's up, Big Fish? Captain Ravioli. Gilded Crux, what's up? Courtesy of Hidden True Crime, Allen changed his height on his fishing license in 2017 to 5'6". That's interesting. Another proactive maneuver. Jessica says the defense just put out the Odinist article on People magazine. They are getting desperate. Yep, that's obvious. That is obvious. What's up, Louise? Welcome in. Jill Moser, how are you? Miss Thang, welcome in. Good to see you. All right. So this is from Angela Gannot, and you guys can go check her out on X at Angela Gannot. All right. So this is Thursday morning testimony notes. First witness was Kathy Schenk, retired DCS worker who had volunteered to help with administrative duties like organizing files and tips into the database. Handled 14,000 tips by her estimation. So she must be the person who was kind of working with the FBI, and the sheriffs tried to blame her for losing the tip. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. On 9/21/22. So this is smack dab in the middle of the Wabash River search. Smack dab. Well, towards the end. Stumbled on a file folder that was not with the others she had been managing. Inside was a report that had the name Richard Allen Whiteman. The report said Richard Allen admitted to being on the Monon High Bridge the day of the murders. She immediately reported this to Tony Leggett, lead investigator. Okay, so she's the one that found it. She immediately reported this to Tony Leggett, lead investigator. She also testified that there was a note on the tip sheet that said, cleared. Holy shit. Dan Dulin, you got some splaining to do. She didn't know why the name was entered wrong. Fuck, this doesn't look good for him. Next witness was DNR officer Captain Dan Dulin. On 2/18/17, tasked with assisting investigators to run down leads, tasked with talking with Rick Allen Whiteman. Okay, so this is the 18th. This is way after the two photographs were released. The photographs were released on the 16th officially, and there was two of them. So he's seen them. He knows what the bridge guy looks like. This is fucking weird. Tasked with talking to Rick Allen Whiteman. Called him to ask to meet at the house. Allen said no. Oh, shit. Suggested police station. Allen said hell no. Asked where, and Allen suggested Save a Lot parking lot. Okay, we always suspected it was Weidman's. So Save a Lot. Hold on, guys. I want to pull that up. This is getting interesting. Okay, so you have Richard Allen's home here. You have the Monon High Bridge here. And the Save a Lot is over here. Why here? And he was working here at the CVS. So he met with Dan Dulin at the Save a Lot. Why, though? Why the hell did you pick this area, buddy? He refused to go to the police station? Sus. Refused to meet at his home? Sus. Yet you mark him as cleared? Something don't smell right. But we'll continue on. Okay, so Allen suggested Save a Lot parking lot. Met there and confirmed correct name is Richard Allen, who lived on Whiteman Street. Testified that Richard Allen self-reported he was in the area of the Monon High Bridge between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. that day. Richard Allen later in a conversation changed that to 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Told officer he saw 3 young girls when he was walking. Told officer he parked near the Hoover Harvest building on 300 North. Told officer he wasn't paying attention to anything while walking, was looking at a stock ticker on his phone. Dulin said the conversation took 10 minutes when he typed up the notes in his car and filed a Word doc which went into the system. Dulin didn't think any more of that until he was contacted by investigators in 2022 following the discovery of the file. He was asked if he spoke to Richard Allen. He said he did and turned over all his files. He said in 2022 he also went into the DNR files to see if there was anything there and found that on 4/1/17, which Richard Allen applied for a new fishing license, he reported a new height and weight. The change in height was from 5'4" to 5'6". That's how tall I am, 5'6". He thought that was unusual. Dulin said he collected info off of Richard Allen's phone in the time of the encounter in 2017, but did not look at the contents. It was testified to yesterday that the phone is not in the possession of law enforcement and hasn't been found. Whoa. Let's back up on that. I'm going to read that again. Next witness was DNR Officer Captain Dan Dulin, and on 2/18, 2 days after Richard Allen, the bridge guy images were released to the public, which was on the 16th, was tasked with assisting investigators to run down leads. So this doesn't make Dan Dulin look like he's part of the crime. It just makes him look like, I don't know. It's not a good look for him. I don't want to use the word incompetent because, we're just human beings. I have to feel like at some point Richard Allen may have, I don't know, did he do a Jedi mind trick on him? Was he there with his family? Was he just looking so pathetic and little?
See your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
I mean, what the hell happened? Okay, tasked with talking to Rick Allen Whiteman, called him to ask to meet at the house. Allen said no. Suggested the police station. Allen said no. Asked where, and Allen suggested the Save-A-Lot parking lot. Why the Save-A-Lot parking lot? Met there and confirmed correct name is Richard Allen, who lived on Whiteman Street. Testified that Richard Allen self-reported he was in the area of the Monon High Bridge between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. that day. Richard Allen later in the conversation changed that to 1:30 to 3:30. Told officer he saw 3 young girls when he was walking. Told officers he parked near the Hoover Harvest Store building on 300 North. Told officer he wasn't paying attention to anything while walking, was looking at a stock ticker on his phone. Dulin said the conversation took 10 minutes. Then he typed up the notes in his car and filed a Word doc that went into the system. Dulin didn't think any more of that until he was contacted by investigators. All right, guys, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. This is shocking. Yeah, who cleared him? And it looks like for whatever reason he didn't put 2 and 2 together. Because he asked him, let's meet at the store. Maybe he was at the Save-A-Lot and he was with his wife and his daughter, or with his daughter. He just looked innocent. And if you think about it, if Richard Allen called in, that's more of that proactive countermeasures, right? Just like covering the girls with sticks to help camouflage them. So we have to give a little credit to Richard Allen for misleading or manipulating Dan Dulin. The Jedi mind trick. It's just little old me. I called the tip line. Crazy. You guys, this is not looking good for Richard Allen. It could have been solved that day. Think they would have had his phone. They would have been able to pull the forensics from his phone. The blood would have still been fresh in his car. That's very upsetting. Like, I don't want to be too harsh on Dan Dulin, but you guys all know what I'm thinking. Sorry, Dan. But, I'm pretty sure Dan Dulin's thinking the same thing too. So I'm sure he's beating up himself enough about it. I don't think we need to. Yeah, my wife's an inch taller than me. I'm a shorty. I'm okay with that. Good question, Sparky. Who cleared Richard Allen? Why does it say cleared? Who put that? Is that Dan? Julie says weight fluctuates as an adult. That's not surprising, but sorry, honey, you did not have a midlife growth spurt. That doesn't happen. Yep. And I don't want to look too much into it, but I mean, it's just not looking good for Richard Allen. Makes Dulin look like a completely incompetent officer, like totally doesn't give a damn. Cannot imagine this person and actually connected to law enforcement. Seriously, what the fuck? Yeah, and I used to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Oh, he met with them later on the 14th or the 15th. It had to be. Couldn't have been after the video or after the images were released. No way. But 100% yes. But another thing about the 18th is this would have been right around the time law enforcement would have been very interested in Keegan Kline. So I think this is maybe a direct result of what happens when investigators put on the blinders, right? They were consumed by Anthony's shots. Getting that search warrant, finding out who created that, pulling the digital forensics off of Libby's phone, connecting it to Anthony's shots. Truffle says, pathetic police work. Stacy says, Richard Allen said, Save a Lot is a public place. If he was asked, where can we meet there? Yeah, that's interesting. Question is why? I wonder if this is his secret spot, guys. We got a train trestle right back here. I think he has these trophies hidden away somewhere. Seems to be a trail back here. Looks like the creek even comes back here. Delphi historic trails are right back there. If I was in Delphi, I would go searching back here for some kind of a marker. This might be his little spot here. He works right here at the CVS on his lunch break. Takes a little walk back here. I think I would search right here somewhere. Maybe even somewhere under this little bridge. That's just me. That blows my mind. I don't know what to make of that shit. Big Fish says, why would he change his height to be closer to that of BG? Well, he doesn't know what they think. Remember, if he's a disorganized killer, he's obsessing about it. He's trying to pick up all the pieces that he left behind. So in his mind, he's like, okay, all these witnesses saw somebody who was 5'4". I need to change it to 5'6". Like, he doesn't know what's going on early on in the investigation. That's why he's coming forward. That's why he's changing his height. But, potentially, hypothetically. Okay, I'm receiving some emails. Remember, guys, I can't, if you send me anything from YouTube, I can't play it on my channel. They'll probably hit me with some kind of a strike. But any mainstream news coverage, they know the rules and the laws on fair use, so they won't put me through the hassle of it like a YouTuber might. No, I don't want to go through that. But let me see what we're getting in right now. So thank you, Danita. Yeah, I can't pull that up. Sorry. Richard Allen introduced by prosecution. I'm going to see what it is first. Yeah, it looks like a YouTube live. Sorry. I won't be able to pull that up. But I got something else from AI. Thank you so much. We'll pull that up. Oh, looks like this is a Facebook Live.
Allen, and that is that one of Carroll County's own, a volunteer, is the one who came across the tip from 2017 in which Allen placed himself on the trails that day. So her job was to organize tips. She sat at a desk, and as the man moved from the RMC building to the city building and then onto another building, all of Kathy's files moved with her. She took that tip, which was on some other things that you will want to take note of today. When Richard Allen was first interviewed in 2022 by police, they said he came willingly. And in fact, he was Mirandized, but Mullen, now an investigator with the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office, said that Allen became agitated and walked out of the room. They gave him a ride back to his home. It was then that they acquired the search warrant and a search of his home began.
Okay, so that's nothing new with that. Thank you guys for sending that to me. Let me see if there's any updates here. Okay, I think we're pretty much up to date here. Let's see. All right, everything that's coming up right now is having to do with the Dan Dulin stuff. So I think we covered that pretty thoroughly. Let's go over to Frank Meister's notes from yesterday. We'll skip the car boss stuff and we'll go right into the Dr. Core. So Frank reports Abby Williams was listed as 5'4", 95 pounds. She was wearing a black sweatshirt, blue jeans, pink shirt, gray sports bra, black brassiere. There was a rape kit done. No fingernail clippings. Her fingernails were too short. It's reported that she would bite her nails. No sexual activity, no blunt force trauma, possible duct tape or something over her mouth. Partial transection of the jugular, 1 inch deep. So that fits perfectly with the box cutter. Libby German, 5'4", 200 pounds. No sexual assault, no defensive wounds. Possibly 5 or 6 wounds, 9 centimeters in length. Superficial wound to the shoulder. Abrasion to the leg, possibly by dragging. 2 to the right side of the neck. At least 2 to the left side of the neck. So that tells me Richard Allen stood over her while she was facing down. slit her throat. She rolled over to face him, and then he slit the other side, causing blood to spray all over the bottom of his pants. And that's what Sarah Carbaugh saw on the muddy and bloody guy. Muddy upper, bloody lower. Abby Williams dies within 7 to 10 minutes. Libby German dies almost instantly. Libby had brain swelling, no exact time of death. Classic serration wounds, possible multiple weapons, arterial spray. That is from Frank Meister. Okay. Now, there's been a lot of activity on the docket. I mean, look at all of this, guys. Let me share my screen with you. This is all just from today. E-notice issued to parties, appearance filed, motion to quash, order issued, parties stipulation on evidentiary matters, order issued, motion in lemonade under advisement regarding composite sketches, now grants the motion and prohibits the defense from using the composite sketches. So sketches are officially out. Max Baker is in. He's allowed to assist the defense team. I believe he's the one that wrote the Frank's memo. Don't quote me on that. Order issued, return of confiscated equipment. So it looks like all the cameras are going to be returned. We have that court document. There's an order issued. Look at all this. A lot of activity today. Hopefully we can get our hands on all of this. Let's see what we got here. Looks like Andrea Burkhart's motion to leave to intervene and for public access to court records. That was denied. We talked about that yesterday. Prior to the commencement of proceedings in this cause, the court was informed by members of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department that members of the media filmed and photographed the jury. Like, stop fucking with the jury. Like, control yourselves. An officer approached a reporter from NBC and personally viewed the footage containing images of the jurors. So they tried to downplay and say, oh, you know, we were allowed to be here and we were just happened to be filming in that direction and we were in a designated area. No, look at this. Personally viewed the footage containing images of the jurors. The officer confiscated a Sony camcorder from Eric Arnold, you dummy. A Nikon camera from Ryan Delaney, you dummy. 2 cameras from Mike Conroy, you dummy. And Alex Martin Gannett, dummy. So it looks like those were returned today. This was posted on X, I think. I'm not sure who posted this. Maybe Angela. Motion to quash subpoena. So it looks like Robert Ives, former prosecuting attorney by counsel, Thomas J. O'Brien, pursuant to trial, Rule 45 of the Indiana Rules of Trial Procedure, respectfully requests the court to quash a subpoena to testify in the above entitled cause in support of said motion. Robert Ives received a subpoena from the defense on October 22nd, 2024. 2 days ago, the subpoena requested his testimony at the jury trial in the above entitled cause. Robert Ives' last day of being the prosecutor attorney for Carroll County was December 31st, 2017. Any information that Robert Ives would have had would clearly be work product, which is something not discoverable, nor is Robert Ives able to testify regarding any work. Here's another one. The court having taken this matter into advisement, a hearing conducted on October 17th, 2024. The state's motion in lemonade regarding defense witness and the defendant's response filed October 7th, 2024, and having heard and considered the arguments of counsel and defendants exhibits D and G, now finds that Dr. William Tobin is an expert in the field of meteorology and has been recognized as an expert in the field of several courts of various jurisdictions. Dr. Tobin is not a firearm expert. has had no training in firearms identification, and has never conducted a firearms examination. Specifically, Dr. Tobin did not examine the evidence in this case. The topic of this witness testimony does not go to any issue before the jury and lacks relevance. The court therefore grants the state's motion in limine and finds Dr. Tobin's testimony to be inadmissible. All right, guys, that's everything I have. Let's catch up on the chat. If there's anything you think I missed or need to add, let's hear it now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Saska says, should have been keeping an eye out for exactly this man, but did they know each other? At the time, the police were looking at multiple different people, though. Yeah, specifically, probably Ron Logan. They probably had a huge interest in Ron Logan because of his past and his reputation, what have you. And then they were really, really looking at Keegan Kline. And remember, he skipped town. He took off on the 21st, I believe. So they were probably already getting ready to go kick in his door. So I think if you add the blinders, all the chaos, the proactivity and the countermeasures taken by Richard Allen, his own Jedi mind trick, and if you look at it and consider all of the variables, Dan Dulin just he just fucked up, and I'm sure he's beating himself up more than we ever could. So I'm gonna let no reason in beating him while he's down for now. When did they release the photo? The 16th, I believe. I know the video was later, but when was it known that came from Libby's phone? Yeah, it was later. I think on the 22nd is when they finally released a lot of that information at the first presser. So the photos were released on the 16th. They released 2 of them. And in one of those, you can actually see what appears to be Abby, I think, her elbow. I think he's working for the fire department now, Miss Smalla. That might explain why that happened. I don't think he knew he was capped on video until he released that to the public. He had to come forward. Yeah, he saw those photographs and he knew. He's like, well, it doesn't look like me. And he may have even given the name Richard Allen Whiteman. That would fit with my amateur profile with him, the kind of behavior he does, these countermeasures. Grunstruck says, hell, some still think it was Ron Logan. Yeah, they're all going to ignore all of this information, and they've already made up their mind, and they don't care. Even when Richard Allen is sentenced to life in prison, they're still going to continue on ignoring the facts. Darkness only feeds into more darkness. And it is what it is. Agree to disagree, right? Yeah, the 15th or the 16th. Regardless, way before the 18th. Is it possible the prosecution has more evidence? Absolutely. They're barely getting started. They're basically, all they've done right now is set the stage. That's it. Manus is cleared has legal meaning in Indiana law, so police used the word covered, but I don't think anyone was ever covered. Is that what it said? Did I miss that? Let me look at that again. Report said Richard Allen admitted to being on the Monon High Bridge the day of the murder. She immediately reported this to Tony Liggett, said investigators. She also testified there was a note on the tip sheet that read cleared. So not covered, but cleared. Don Spain says Dulin was on stage with the investigators. He didn't think about it until 2022. What the fuck? Yeah, here it is. This is what Don is talking about. So 4 days after he interviews Richard Allen, and you can clearly see the images in the front of the stage here. Okay. And there's Mr. Dulin 4 days after talking with Richard Allen. And 6 days after the images were released to the public. Well, the thing is, Mary, they kind of tricked him. The same day that they released the images on the news, they were saying, "Oh, this guy isn't considered a suspect." But I guess they didn't realize that he actually came forward. What's up, Andrew? Boston says, one time I was very tired at work and I made a mistake and transposed letters in a last name. I didn't think fatigue could do that, but it can. Yeah, I was just thinking that. You know, maybe he was extremely tired. They were doing their best. You know, they're 5 days into this investigation. He could have been exhausted. And we're not taking away Richard Allen's part in this, right? Meeting at the Save-A-Lot. Maybe he was with his family or daughter. He could have played a part in misleading Dulin. You know, like that movie you guys ever seen, Usual Suspects? Something like that. With Dee Dee putting tip in the system, should someone else follow up? I'm confused. Well, he blamed the person, that lady, as kind of misfiling it, putting it in a place kind of hidden from the other files. So hopefully we get clarity on that. Truffle says Richard Allen was hiding his real identity. Melanie, good to see you. I bet the river search was for the 2017 phone, possibly. NGL, I was consumed by Anthony Shots, potentially Klein involvement. Can't blame him. Yeah, I think blinders, fatigue, and Richard Allen's own efforts led to he's been finding success in his using countermeasures. He's a disorganized killer who has successfully cleaned up his mess for 6 years. Yep, exactly, Cindy. Hello, Stephanie. He's very manipulative. Yeah, we can't take that away, that part of it away. If he can kill these two girls and hide in plain sight, he's got some kind of personality disorder that allows him to. I'm guessing it's psychopathy. He's able to go home, sleep at night, think about what he needs to do, think about the mistakes that he made, and the countermeasures that he needs to take, the steps he needs to take to clean up his mess. Yeah, at least he thought the height was strange. And even though it made him look guiltier, that's hindsight, right? Hindsight is always 20/20. But to Richard Allen, he's like, okay, I'm 5'4". When he sees the bridge guy video, he's like, that's me, 5'4" guy. I'm going to change my height, not knowing that the investigation is looking for somebody between 5'6" and 5'10". You got to think through the mind of the killer. Or it could be nothing. Get out there with a metal detector. Yeah, I think that it might. I don't know. If I lived in Delphi, I would go searching back there for those trophies. Why did he pick Save a Lot? It's very close to CVS, and I didn't realize that those trails were right behind the Save a Lot. And there's a train bridge there. I don't know. Maybe that's his special place. I just have a feeling that those trophies are still out there. Maybe even some photographs of the crime scene. And I think it would be good to investigate if he walked back there. You know, people from CVS, if you know that he's walking back there, why don't you go snoop around out there? V says 100% sleuth intuition, worried about Anthony Schatz and unraveling the grease ball, and his dad probably still on Ron Logan too. Yep. Can you blame him? Once they found out what Keegan Kline was up to, what he was doing in Vegas. Yep, chess game. He made the initial move and waited for the cops to call. When they didn't, checkmate. Exactly. He's not as dumb as you guys think. Let's skip on down to Blue Line. The trail can actually connect with the high bridge. Interesting. Did he tell Dulin also phone tip and at some point go to the police station? CVS after February. Hey, True Crime Web. Steve, what's up? Bias. Wrong height and jumping to conclusions by investigators occur. Been there, seen it. There is an investigator out there who knows he overlooked or missed Richard Allen and wrongfully cleared Richard Allen back then. And I'm assuming he's beating himself up enough, Steve. What do you think? No need for me to kick him while he's down. For now. Anna says if any trophies were found, prosecution would have led with that. In their opening, in my opinion, they found nothing at Richard Allen's home. Yep, I think the trophies and some maybe photographs are still out there. And it makes me wonder about this Save a Lot. I think it wouldn't hurt to go searching out there near those train tracks and those trails. You might just find a treasure trove. Saska says, we were just saying last night, bet the trophies aren't at his house, but somewhere he loved to go. Yep. And it's amateur hour with me, but that's my profile. He has the trophies. He memorialized the crime, and he has them somewhere. Somewhere, a place far from his house that he can visit. And it just kind of clicked. He's telling Dan Dulin, nope, I won't go to the police station, and you can't come by my house. I think he said the same thing about the trophies. You know, and we have a video of him kind of leaving CVS. Well, not a video, but a photograph. He's kind of walking away. And also, Kelsey worked across the street at the Dairy Queen. And that the trail goes right by the Dairy Queen. Telling you guys, just call it a hunch. But I think they should go looking back there. So if you live in Delphi and you got a metal detector, go behind that Save a Lot. Go check those trails. Go under that bridge. Go look in little areas where little nooks and crannies. I bet you might find a treasure trove. Don't touch it, though. Do not touch it. Yep, I think so, Mary. Hey, Big Bird, what's up? Richard Allen came up with the Odin theory from Robert Ives' non-secular moment in his interview. Just a thought. Well, I think that's non-secular stuff has been retracted. And it was Richard Allen that brought the Odinism up to his attorneys. And then they went and cherry-picked it from the discovery. It's not like they went and looked through the discovery and said, oh, man, did you guys see these crime scene photos? This looks like Odinism. Let's look into this further. No, Richard Allen said these Odinist guards are threatening to kill me and my family if I don't confess. And then they went and cherry-picked everything from there on. What's up, Low-Key 23? Occam's Razor states the most logical solution is probably right. I agree with you. Sparky says, "Hey, Steve, True Crime Web, lovely to see you." Purdue, I want to know if Dee Dee knew Richard Allen prior to interview. Me too. There is a trail. Good to see you, Hathers. I think I missed you a little bit early on. Good to see you. Height estimate by the FBI was 5'6" to 5'10". Well, we have one of the witnesses who said probably around 5'6". In underwear at a home, and the homeowner would claim he found them while hiking. If I lived in Delphi, I would be out there right now looking behind that Save-A-Lot. It's right behind the CVS. If he has an hour lunch, go walk out there, get some privacy, smoke a cigarette, your own little personal reflection time. He might have that. You guys, I'm just telling you. It's amateur hour all day here with me, but I'm telling you, if I was out there, I would be searching near those trails behind the Save-A-Lot. Could be nothing. Call it a hunch. I don't want to meet at home. I don't want to meet at the police station. I don't want to hide this at home. I want to hide it back here. So look, these Delphi historic trails lead right to the Dairy Queen. This is where Kelsey worked. Kelsey worked here, and Libby spent a lot of time here. Just across the street is the CVS. All he'd have to do is walk through this parking lot, walk past the Save-A-Lot, and there's a bridge right here. But I don't know. I'm feeling more like this area might be something more important. Walking over to the water's edge. Maybe through these trees here. Seems to be some trails. I mean, what do I know? I'm just saying, telling you guys what I'm feeling. Richard Allen is a POI until proven otherwise in the training books. Yeah, if he's the killer, for sure. Yeah, who cleared him? Yep, Louise. Jedi mind tricks. Good to see you, Suzer. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up. Let me check my email real quick, unless I missed you guys. All right. Looks like I got something here from James. Says Richard Allen operated the photo developing equipment at CVS. Yeah, we talked about this. Remember, he gave the funeral photos to Libby's family for free. Did he print himself a copy? I would bet you that there's a copy of those photographs in his little treasure trove. I bet you it's some kind of a box a box wrapped in plastic and buried out there by the Save-A-Lot, just behind his work. Wonder if he ever printed off photos from his phone of the scene. I think so, buddy. Wonder if there's any way he could have stored digital images, or the equipment has the ability to pull the information from the photos that were printed around that time. Yes, they can, but I think it's limited. I think over time it starts to kind of delete that. But yeah, maybe they can. Hopefully they looked into that. Thank you for the email, James. Gen X Horse Girl, welcome in. Glad to have you. If you guys are part of that replay crew, you guys know what to do. Drop a comment. We'll get back to you. Great job, mods. Thank you guys for holding it down in the chat. All my members, I couldn't do this without you. All of you who continue to donate to the Cash App, thank you so much. Those of you who have been donating to the Venmo, thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to spend the time doing this here and gathering this information with you guys otherwise. So you make it possible. And if I missed your comment, I do apologize. You can always email me. What's up, Jarrett? You can always email me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Blue-Eyed Trucker, good to see you as always, my friend. True Crime Housewife. Melanie Rose. Good to see all all the new names in here. Want to welcome you guys in. I appreciate you hanging out on my channel. Consider sticking around. We'd love to have you. Roy Hinckley. Yep, I think he plays into the fact, I'm this little guy. Ashley, good to see you. Thank you, Ashley. All right. Harry Lime, welcome in. He changed his height from 5'4" to 5'6". Yeah, we just read that on his fishing license. Very interesting. What do you make of that? Dark Side. Would be interesting to know if ever had a hunting license before 2017. I believe he did. That's the only way he technically could have changed it. Miss Thang, thank you. Yeah, if you guys are out there in Delphi, go search out there. Tell me what you find. Don't touch it. Aaron M. Cash. Good to see you. Let's go to Steve. While he may have collected and maintained trophies, he also had the ability to revisit the bridge and relive the day anytime he wished. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if that would have brought attention to himself. Maybe park over at the crime or over at the cemetery. I still believe he may have been at the 2018 presser. Hey, Cindy Lean. Good to see you. I think like 23 devices in total, Todd, but not the one from the 17th. I find that stands out to me. Thank you, Scott. Hope you stick around. It's good to have you in here. Thanks for participating in the chat. You guys don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out and go share this video if you can on your social media. Stephanie says justice for Abby and Libby. Thank you for saying so. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for you. We'll be getting together for a members only live stream very soon. if not later today, Friday midday. And I think we're going to set up a giveaway either Saturday or Sunday, and we're going to give some Sleuth Crew merch away. So keep a lookout for that as well. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.